Triangle Squared.
Return of the podcast. Hello, and welcome to episode 38 of Triangle Squared.
It's 38.
I'm your host, Brett Beck, and alongside me, back and his spot, his rightful throne.
Bringing you lucky number 38, Saul Bridges.
Saul Bridges. Hey, buddy.
Has to be lucky.
You know, we went like a good week and a half without seeing each other.
And then we just spent the last half hour talking about Nier.
Yes, we did. And I don't regret it at all.
We filmed it all, too. We could very well upload that just for fun one day.
Just for BS.
There's so many.
There's a good bit of spoilers in that.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of spoilers.
That's nothing but spoilers. Well, hey, if you like Nier and you want us to upload a big conversation about me basically grinning ear to ear while I continue to tell Saul that he's just scratched the surface, then let us know. But before we get into that, we are Triangle Squared. If this is your first time joining us, we are a PlayStation-centric podcast, and we upload to YouTube every Monday at 10 p.m. PST, 10 a.m.
Noon Central, 10 a.m. Pacific.
There you go. He did it. On YouTube in video format or on podcast services in a video format. Our video format, sound format. Man, I'm all sorts of crazy today. I don't know what's going on with me. But
super crazy.
If you listen to the podcast and you want us to answer any of your questions, or if you have any topics you'd like us to talk about, you can tweet them at us at Triangle SQRD, or you can send them to our email at Triangle Squared Podcast, exactly how it sounds, at gmail.com. So, Saul?
Yes.
I have no clue what you've done besides play Nier. So let's just go over and follow our normal structure since we're back to that. And what have you been playing, good sir?
Nier. And that's really been it.
God, like literally it?
What day did I say? What was it? Tuesday. I said that, like, let's play Division. But then Ryan's out of town, so he couldn't play Division.
So you bought Nier that day?
I bought Nier that day. I was going to wait for a sale, and I was just like, you know what? No, I'm just going to go ahead and buy it at full price because I want to play it. I have been playing it.
Is it still 60?
Yeah. When I can.
Still worth it, but.
Like the 1 or 2 hours before work, or in the rare instance of like Thursday night, I got home from work and I didn't like eat dinner or anything. I just played that game. And that's very, very rare that I do a game that way. Destiny 2 was one of them. And I think before that it was Destiny, and I think that's the only thing I've ever done it with. But yeah, super good game. Not going to say much on it since I just started my second playthrough.
But we're going to say this much. You finally get what the hype train's about.
Oh, I do. A lot of times people will hype up a game, and Nier was very, very hyped up. And I went into it because I got it at launch. That's something else everybody should know.
Discord chat was blowing up with people saying that you needed to play it when you were asking. You're like, what do we play next? And, you know, with the people that were there, pretty much a resounding, hey, go ahead and play Nier.
Right. And the crazy thing is that I got it at launch. And I got that, Neo, and Horizon all within such a short time frame that it eventually just fell by the wayside. I got into it, and I played it for probably 3 hours, 4 hours maybe, and went back to Horizon, and I went so hard into Horizon that I platinumed it, and then I went right on into Neo because I'm a huge Dark Souls style fanboy. And so during that entire time, Nier got pushed way down to the bottom of the backlog. And then I eventually...
You do your normal thing where you weren't playing it, so you just traded it in.
Probably so, yeah. I don't remember what I traded it in for. It might have been towards my Switch and stuff. But, yeah, actually, I think it was, because right around March.
I don't know.
But
yeah, because you didn't get a Switch at launch. I forget about that.
I got it fairly close at launch.
Yeah, but you didn't get it launch day. That's all I'm saying. Yeah.
No. I had to wait for reviews and stuff. But, so I've been playing a lot of Nier, and... like, I'll hop on Call of Duty, World War II for the occasional game once or twice.
Have you hopped on Destiny for their whatever at all yet? The Curse of Osiris?
It's something
DLC?
weird. Something weird about that. I hopped on to get a weapon from Xur, that lens weapon.
They got
Prometheus lens or whatever.
That instantly got nerfed?
Yeah, but I went ahead and grabbed it because it looked cool. And I was like, if they ever fix this game, I'll go back and play it. I'd like to have that weapon. But I had Curse of Osiris and stuff downloaded, and maybe it was just the content was already in the game, but I remember I went to Xur, and then I went to Hawthorne and got my clan stuff while I was there, and I got a couple things from Curse of Osiris. So I don't know if I got the game, like if it I don't know if it came with the collector's edition that I got and it downloaded itself.
Your $99 edition came with the, if I'm not mistaken,
with the season
it came
pass?
with the season pass.
So
It's basically it came with the season pass and the steelbook, right?
and then those like trinkets. But so are you saying though that even if I redeem the season pass, it would automatically download that for me?
No, you probably redeemed it, just don't remember it. But
No, I'm saying I redeemed the season pass, but would have automatically downloaded.
Yeah, probably.
That's probably what happened then. But yeah, so haven't played much of Destiny, and now that Nier has officially lived up to the hype, very, very rare that a game has that much hype around it that I can personally see, and then it goes into it and it actually not only fulfills the amount of love that I have for that game, but it exceeds what I thought was possible. And I don't remember the last game that did it. I don't remember the last game that I went into.
You're playing it 9 months after release.
Something like that, yeah. And bought it at full price too, which is saying something. But
I'm glad you like it because I would have hated for you to have spent full price on it and then be like, it's okay.
yeah, Sony needs to get up with them digital refunds. But what about you, Mr. Brett? What have you been venturing on? I know it hasn't been much.
Work. Me and
Yeah.
Rihanna are real close these days, so that's a fan friend of
here.
you that listened to the Billboard Top 100s. I don't actually know if that made it to the Billboard Top 100s, but my assumption is yes. I couldn't get in the car without it being on the radio before I switched over to Bluetooth. So with that being said, I played very little. I did play on the plane ride to LA. I played Salt and Sanctuary, and the game's still just it's harder than Dark Souls ever has been for me, and I don't know why.
What?
I'm serious, man.
Is it the side-scrolling aspect?
I don't know. No, I mean, like I do okay. It's just eventually I get destroyed, and I will say the slide scroll. Actually, I normally don't have issues with this. I also came into it and having not played it in months. I have no clue where I'm at.
Oh, that would have been a restart right there for me. That's why I want to play Warframe, but I can't. I can't restart it.
I mean, I'm with you. I don't know.
But
I don't like to restart if I can keep from it, but I had no clue where I was at. I was at like this boss that it's the boss that I can't beat is the issue. It's it's an early boss too. So laugh at me if you want to, but the boss is the alchemist, I think. And he throws like these little things out there that spawn slime, and
Is he on a rooftop?
No, he's on wooding scaffolding, like up in a treetop.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, I think I remember that boss very vaguely.
I think he has kind of like a plague doctor mask look kind of going for him.
I don't remember much.
But he's kind of big.
Game.
I don't know. He's a really big dude. Anyway, played some of that. Played. I downloaded SteamWorld Dig 2 after I liked SteamWorld Dig 1 a lot. And that game's interesting. SteamWorld Dig 1 ended in a boss fight, and that was the only one in the game. This game starts with a boss fight. And I'm hoping that there's more throughout it. I haven't gotten to play just too terribly much of it. But I have played a decent bit of it. I like it. I'll tell you what I did play. Because I've not played much in my own home setting. I've been just busy with a ton of different things. Coming back from PSX, my cases kind of got out there. People lost their mind on those, and my Twitter's been blowing up. And I decided, with all the attention they gotten, people wanting them, that I'd do a giveaway. That's kind of eating up a lot of my time trying to figure out what games to give away, and then starting the giveaway. And you know, I have the really bad issue of of wanting to respond to everyone who responds to it, just because I'm still just amazed the fact that anybody really cares. That's an issue, but
we should have just pinned a tweet that says, "No, we're not selling them right now." I can't tell you how many notifications we got.
I know, but not even that. Just people being like, "Oh, these are really nice." I'm like, "Thank you. I really appreciate that." I don't know how to say anything else. Anybody who takes their time out to even say anything remotely nice about something I've done, I instantly feel the need to just like reciprocate and be like, well, Thank you for being so polite. And I like whenever we're seeing people in the giveaway being like, good luck to everyone who's playing. I'm like, that's nice.
That is. I like it when
I
people say
appreciate that because
they give luck to their other people who almost said patrons, but that doesn't make sense.
Yeah. But it's cool when other people did that. So I've been busy with that. But what I did play, Saul, was at PSX, and I played a lot. Main thing that I'm just so impressed with, and it is everything I want it to be, and it was the same section they played through. I played the Detroit hostage demo on the top. Okay,
the one they demoed on stage.
Yeah, the one they demoed on stage, and I want to tell you right now, I am firmly on the side of save that freaking fish. I saved the fish on stage whenever he was there. I yelled that. That's why I was all for it. And then whenever I got the hands on I was like, the fish is the number one thing I had to do. Then I instantly was like, gotta save this little girl.
Right.
I had a different ending than the demo, and I was really trying to get out of it to where both of them lived, because I don't know why, but I'm empathetic to the android situation. I'm like, man,
Nier.
Well, yeah, I guess that's it. I don't know. I just think the position that he's in within the way that demo goes out It's like I get why he's retaliating in the wrong way, but the way he found himself in the position to even get there, I understand. He's going to get replaced. He's told, like, the little girl says that you'll be with me forever and that I love him and he's great. He's getting his head fluffed up. Him and this little girl are best friends. Then he finds out that the dad's wanting to replace him. He feels betrayed by the little girl. Like, what? Why wouldn't she tell her dad, that she wants me to be around forever? I'm her friend. It's an interesting situation. It reinforces exactly what I wanted, which is just going around and kind of looking and being able to pick up clues in the environment. The story they're telling is just really interesting. I like the way they're going. I like specifically that they're leaning real heavily into the title, Become Human. These are androids. It's funny because Connor is kind of the one who's like real flat, real
stoic.
dry. I don't want to say stoic completely, but he's obviously on the side of the humans, and it's interesting because it seems like no matter what the ending is, he almost doesn't care what happens, which is interesting. I love the performance from Brian Deckert, and he retweeted me. I like that, but it was really good, and I'm really excited to get to go into. I want to see Marcus's section just to see how his is going to go out, because I think I have an idea of how the story will structure out. But the game is fantastic. It's everything I wanted it to be. Getting a different ending felt satisfying, and it wasn't what I was trying for, and I really had an idea of what I was trying for, and I thought I did my best, but I still did. And I'm sure that what I wanted is an ending. I just have to do more to get that right.
Gotcha.
Basically what I'm saying is he still died on my ending. I'm not going to go into too much further on that, but I did not shoot him. I did not get the gun. The game said that androids are not supposed to have guns. I was like, you know what? I'm not going to have a gun then. Because that's who I am, Saul. That's who I am.
A true android.
I'm that boy who's like, hey, it leans into my normal life. I don't care if people have guns, but I'm just not really into guns all that much. So, I mean, in my opinion, I was like, I'm going to follow that through in the game. Now, I'm not saying shooter games aren't fun. They are. But if I'm playing a game where it's about decisions that I'm making, I'm going to make them off of my moral compass.
Right.
So,
I can see that.
I like that. I played Monster Hunter. Did not get to play the beta, but that's okay because news coming up will kind of do
fun.
that. I liked it. Me, Ryan, John, Mark, those are all people I met at PSX for the first time. Very nice people. Had a lot of fun. We played it, and the woman who was there just didn't tell us what we were supposed to be doing at all. We were running around. They had 2 TVs set and 2 TVs like back to back and in a group of 4. Yeah. And all 4 of us sat down. My headset was cutting out. Ryan couldn't hear me. I couldn't hear Ryan. I could barely hear the other 2 guys. So we were just kind of running around.
The controls for those games are always super duper weird too.
Yeah, I kept transforming my weapon because I was trying to attack with R2 because most action games I played recently.
You were using a gun lance, weren't you?
No.
What were you using?
I was using the big axe thing that could turn into a sword.
Oh, I don't guess I played the beta with that particular.
But
thing.
anyway,
I thought I selected everything.
You could change out your weapon. So with that being said, I kept trying to attack with R2 because most of the games like
Bloodborne,
Assassin's Creed, Dark Souls 3, Horizon, they've all been melee stuff on the shoulder buttons. So that got me, but it was still really fun, and I'm glad Ryan comes back next weekend. We're all going to play it. If Mark and John can get on, that'd be cool too.
Oh, he comes back next weekend?
Yeah, next weekend for all. That's on the news, but hey, I'll just tell you. No, it's the 22nd through the 26th. So it's technically next week.
Yeah, okay.
But still.
We'll hop on. I got it. I got pretty used to it.
We'll hop on.
I can beat the first mission in like 7 minutes.
I want to play it and have more time with it and have time where I actually get to feel like I'm learning how to do it without having to worry about anything. So
it's super
really
fun.
Cool. So those are the number one things I played. I did try out that Immortal Unchained game, which is the Soul style game that's a shooter that they announced a while back. And it's interesting. I like it, but it's also pretty early build. They were just there because they were asked to, and they were like, okay. They didn't have a card, which was pretty much an indication that they're not aiming to release anytime soon, but the game looked all right. It looked like what I liked about Lords of the Fallen.
Is it the same developers?
No, it's a different Axis Games or something like that as a developer, or at least the publisher. I can't remember which way that worked out. Donut County, I did not get to play, but I watched a lot of people play it. It looked really funny. That's the one that had the real tongue-in-cheek PSX announcement trailer where it was like, does it have a platinum trophy? Which is really funny. I love the trailer. It was really funny.
When you said tongue-in-cheek PSX, I instantly thought of the Accounting Plus, but I realized that's Game Awards.
Yeah, well, I mean, but that was at PSX. But
I'm sure
as
it was,
panel,
yeah.
Yeah, I got an autograph signature. Meeting Justin Roiland was real fun, so... but yeah, that's most of what I've played. I haven't done much outside of PSX, but PSX was fun, and I got to play a good bit of stuff that I wanted to play. So moving on from there, Saul, go ahead and run through that drop if it's even any kind of sizable.
It's a little sizable, but not too much. So for those that don't know, if you're new to the show, the drop is, of course.
We haven't had a drop in 3 weeks. So, yeah, if you've come to us in the last 3 weeks in bonus episode,
if you're all people from PSX, the drop is basically just a release of games this week that are coming out. And I'm not going to say what system they're for unless it's VR or Vita, because it's a given now that it's all PS4. So we have 36 Fragments of Midnight, 3D Billiards. Oh, yeah, you're right.
Pool, Saul.
It is Pool, isn't it? Accounting Plus for PSVR, and we were just talking about.
I'm totally going to get that.
Cat Interstellar, Defunct. My computer froze. This computer is defunct. Oh, now it shot all the way down.
Yeah, it did. Okay.
Dust Off Heli Rescue 2, Gunhouse for PlayStation Vita, Hammer Watch, Roller Coaster Legends, Tiny Metal.
That game was interesting. I watched somebody play that. It's like
it looks super cool.
Old school turn-based strategy, military game, kind of like Advanced Wars.
Yeah. Oh my goodness!
But a little more than that. Check it out.
I need to look in it. We have Ultra Wings for PSVR, Virtue Go, and Xenon Valkyrie Plus. That is the titles for the week. It looks like VR Apocalypse may have been delayed. It says the release date was updated. So if you were interested in VR Apocalypse, you won't be playing that this week. So
they VR apologized.
They VR apologized. Any games this week that look interesting? Not really to me. I know you said Accounting Plus.
Accounting Plus is probably it, because it looks like what I liked about some of the best VR games I've played, which are like kind of really funny out there. Trying to go, I think comedy and everything is always funny. I like comedy music a lot. Definitely when it's in genres that I appreciate. And then, of course, comedy games in genres that and not necessarily genres I appreciate, but VR as a space is really funny. I feel like that we saw that with Job Simulator, and I feel like we're seeing it. Vacation Simulator looks fantastic.
I was going to say Vacation Simulator looks really good.
I think that's a good idea too. So yeah, I'm excited for Accounting. Outside of that, nothing really struck out to me, but I mean that's okay. Accounting would be enough for me. I like Justin Roiland a lot, so I'm excited to play that one. And Blaze is actually going to play that. And, he's prone to motion sickness, so it's cool for him to get to do that.
Did you ever watch the Keeping Up with the Cosbys? Is that what it was called? It was a cartoon about like Bill Cosby cloning himself.
No,
I'm pretty sure that was like. I'm not a huge fan of Justin Roiland, but I'm pretty sure that's his like early work.
Probably down. He had a lot of stuff. Oh yeah, it was like I'm Bill Cosby, and I'm Bill Cosby. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. And that was animated. I do remember that. Yeah, I didn't watch a lot of it though. He had a lot of different things.
He did, and I think a couple things. Did he make a couple of games for like mini clips and stuff too? I remember hearing about that. House of Cosby is what it's called. But I always heard that rumor. I'm not a huge Rick and Morty fan, but I'm not intelligent enough. But
dude, I don't know if you saw, but in the panel, that was like a thing they kept focusing on at the beginning of the game. Is there was an intelligence test to make sure you're smart enough to play their game. So they roll with the joke.
I'm glad they're doing that. I'm glad that they're really good with the jokes against them. But
well, I mean, it's not really against them. It's people who keep thinking that they're smart because they watch Rick and Morty, which is just.
Well, no, then it's become an insult.
It's basically a meme at this point.
Yeah.
But, I got you. So I'm going to roll through news real quick since that's about all. That's pretty much it, though. I mean, I think that game will be really fun. The trailer was just really funny. The panel was great. I think it'll be a cool game. So going up to the news, God, I feel like it's been forever since I've had to do this. If you were like me, we've already talked about Misty Monster Hunter World Beta. Capcom have announced it's coming back starting December 22nd and ending on December 26th. It is available to all PS4 users and not just PS Plus members, which was not true last time. Next up, Eidos Montreal, known for their work on the Tomb Raider and Deus Ex franchises, definitely the recent ones, have announced a shift in emphasis on the online experiences in their games. This means that their upcoming games, which might consist of the rumored Guardians of the Galaxy game, I don't know if you remember that earlier this year, hasn't been confirmed that I know of, but still, it'll likely have online multiplayer functionality. This is interesting because I didn't really care for Deus Ex Mankind Divided that much personally, but it had an online mode called Breach, and I did not realize until I was looking around today that Breach mode ended up getting released as a free-to-play of its own thing, or maybe not even free-to-play, but it got released as a separate game completely.
Huh.
It was Deus Ex Breach.
I don't know what this near trivia is in our keep. Is there spoilers?
Oh yeah, probably you should not.
Yeah,
read
that's
that.
what I'm like. I was looking at the first three. I'm like, nuh-uh.
Yeah, no, you don't need to.
I don't know what that's for. This is interesting.
Yeah, you don't need to read any of those. So I'll just stay away. Next update. Oh, the next thing. PS4 update 5.303 released this week, adding more of that sweet system stability that we've all been asking Sony for. They're not worried about making it to where you can change your names or anything.
Which
so
is
make sure that
another
system
piece
is
of
rock
crazy
solid.
news coming out of PSX.
That didn't happen?
No, I'm saying another piece of crazy news.
What about it?
You didn't hear about that?
What?
They're looking to be able to change your name by the...
Oh, dude, but again, they've been looking forever.
Well, and they've also said that they can't due to their system structure.
And then they've said that they're trying to change ways, and there's been a million leaks that the system's back end will change to where every online game will have to identify you by your nickname and not your actual...
which is nuts to me.
Yeah, it's interesting,
Microsoft
but every
can
game would have to do that. Well, Microsoft's is different. You don't remember when the PS Store was on a web browser when you clicked on it?
Oh,
it would open up a web browser.
Weird.
It was on PS3.
Yeah, I know.
It was awful.
It was
It was awful.
It's super weird. They didn't get away from that not too long ago, did they? Like
No, they got away with that. I mean, they got away from that actually relatively quickly.
like year or two.
Probably about a year.
Okay. Well, that's what I mean by year two.
But I mean,
The second year it had been released.
yeah, but that's not bad. I mean, the PS Store was pretty much out as soon as PlayStation came out. It was an afterthought, obviously. It was something they added quickly. That's why it was like that.
Yeah,
but,
which is crazy too, because it's now my primary place to buy games.
Yeah, they look at that, Saul. You switch around sometimes. Well, on the tail of that sweet stability that we've been wanting, PlayStation 4 had a great month in November, selling more consoles than any other month life to date. So that means PS4 sold more than ever last month. That's really interesting on a month-to-month basis, Next up, IO Interactive have released the Hitman Holiday Pack for free. The download will include the first major story mission from the game, plus all of the escalation contracts that they've released for their Paris in-game location. They reactivated elusive targets and a new holiday-themed mission. All progress will carry over to the full game should players decide to upgrade to the Game of the Year edition. This pack is only available till January 5th. I like that. I've said I'm a big fan of games letting you try them out for free and then carry your progress over.
Yep. That's
fantastic
the perfect
idea.
Trial for me.
And even though I'm not the kind of guy to do it, I think that's the smart way to get more people to adopt digital games purchases.
Yeah. And I mean, if you play it and you don't like it, you have nothing to lose.
Exactly.
Delete the hard drive space.
All right, next up, if you're still playing Destiny 2 or have taken a break, The Dawning is coming back in time for the holidays. Running from December 19th to January 9th, players can visit fully Christmas-decorated social hubs, have snowball fights, even throw snowballs at enemies in raids to whatever, to stun them.
I saw that. That's super weird.
Weird, yeah. Earn Dawning Ingrams full of seasonal rewards and more. One thing that I've heard a lot of people say that it turns out has not just been true, I don't follow the game too terribly closely, heard a lot of people say that Sparrow Racing was supposed to be coming back in the Dawning, and it is not.
It's not going to feel like the Dawning without Sparrow Racing. That's really sad.
So I guess last year when they did the Dawning for Destiny 1, did they have Sparrow Racing again? Is that what the point? So people just expected that to be part of the Dawning every time, huh?
Right, yeah. I think that was the very first Dawning featured playlist. I think it came with the Dawning, and I think people got used to that because there's only 2 Dawnings in Destiny 1, if I recall right. And they eventually made Sparrow Racing permanent, which was great too. I wouldn't have hit max level in that game without that because I didn't ever raid. But
that's interesting.
But yeah, I really did. I'll probably power it on and play it for an hour or two and see what I love it when they update games for holidays. Like Fortnite now they have like little Christmas trees and all like the little shrubs in the game or have Christmas lights all over them. I wish there was snow in the game. That'd be super cool. But I like it.
Yeah, that would look really interesting in that art style too. I'm surprised they haven't done that.
And I see, like Animal Crossing is one of my all-time favorites with that kind of thing of like turning it on for like on December 12th or something.
But they don't update. Snow. That's just the game keeps up with the calendar.
Yeah,
and
it's
changes.
Just super cool. But carry on. I see we have some really good news.
I mean, yeah, sure.
Not talking about this next one's I'm a favorite of.
Oh, yeah, okay. So Arc System Works have announced 3 new characters for Dragon Ball FighterZ. I know we've had a lot of people talk about that. We've had people talk about my Dragon Ball Z figures behind me, and which are our favorites and stuff. But go through that. Goku Black, Beerus, and Hit are the latest additions to the roster, and all three are from the most recent series, Dragon Ball Super. Now, as a quick aside, I have not watched Dragon Ball Super at all. Don't judge me. I love Dragon Ball, but I'm waiting until I can easily get more of my dub in because I'm not a sub.
So you don't know who Goku Black is?
I know who he is because people won't shut the hell up.
That wasn't me. Don't be
it wasn't you. It wasn't you. It was Jonathan and a million different people. But that's okay because I got Goku Black up there.
What?
Somewhere.
Oh, a pop figure Goku Black. I thought you meant like one of these statues Goku Black.
No, that'd be cool though. No, one of my pop figures. I went ahead and picked them up. I haven't watched the show, but I know I'm fairly positive I'll end up liking it.
Yeah.
But I'm waiting for the dub to be easier to get, which apparently it is on Funimation, so I might have to end up getting Funimation so I can finally start watching it. The last thing that I had on here I really like, because this is one of the features I really liked about Until Dawn. So Detroit Become Human will feature a replay option that should make seeing every outcome easier. Similar to the butterfly branches in Until Dawn, Detroit will feature a story tree that allows you to go back to any major choice and replay it to unlock other branches in the story tree. That way you can go back to major moments and go ahead and bam, bam, bam. Completionists who play those kind of games can see every outcome.
And get the outcome you want to if you somehow flubbed up.
Yeah, I'm sure. Now, they didn't go into any kind of whether or not it'll be that you can only do it once you've beaten the game. That way, you don't have to do a complete replay, but you can go back to major moments and just kind of change them around. But either way, I still think it's a good idea because Heavy Rain was not like that. Heavy Rain had to play the whole game over again to change the outcomes.
But
that was also an older game. So, I mean, that came out in 2010.
I keep forgetting how old that game is.
So, yeah. Before we graduated. It was either 2009 or 2010, but I'm pretty sure it was 2010. So that's all I have for news, Saul. Is there any bit of news that excites you?
Dragon Ball Z, I always love hearing about more characters for that game. I'm not a huge fighting game fan, but
I'm not either. I play the stories normally, but this one's going to not be as story focused. It's going to be more competitive focused. And the guys we met at PSX, if you guys are listening, Alex and Nick, they loved the Blaze Blue. I hate that I can't ever know how you actually are supposed to pronounce it.
I'm pretty sure it's Blaze Blue.
But either way, they liked those games. They were there. They were like really into the Capcom Cup. We went and sat into that for a little bit. It was interesting. Fighting games have really rabid fan bases.
Sorry I didn't get to meet you guys.
Heh.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because I had some. I love Blaze Blue.
Yeah, you didn't get to eat IHOP with us.
Joke around. What did you do on IHOP? Why did y'all go to IHOP in California?
Because it was 2 blocks from the hotel.
I mean, you could have Ubered to somewhere fancy for like $10.
We went to Roscoe's the very first day.
You could have. There is places I know that are better than IHOP.
Hey, don't you dare talk about
I'm not insulting IHOP. I'm just insulting you for going to IHOP in California.
We all went, so you're insulting our entire group of 7. I hope that you understand what you've done.
I'm insulting each and every one of you.
We are a minority.
We are a minority when you're out in a new town than IHOP.
We are a minority. We are a group of 7 individuals who went to PSX and ate at that IHOP at that specific time.
I can't really say much because on our way back from Fort Worth, you know where we had to stop and get food? Quiznos.
Oh, you. Hey, Saul.
I don't mind.
You could have drove somewhere 10 minutes down the road and got something so much better.
I don't mind Quiznos, but that was a tradition that Seth and Ashley kind of do, and you can't really steer people away from traditions. No. But Quiznos, I mean, when we had one, it was pretty decent, but eating it on the way home for like a 3.5 hour drive, that had me and my bowels really scared. I didn't know if I was going to make it. But anyways, we have some reader mail.
That's too much information. So we have 2 reader mail that I want to clean up from last week because I like them.
Exactly. And Ryan, he resubmitted it on this week. We didn't forget about you.
Okay, so yeah, that's what we're going to do. Instead of reading this question, we'll just read his new one and go into that. So the question from last week that I did like that we didn't get to that wasn't Ryan's was Mr. Steve Bitto, and he said, dream vacations. Where do you want to visit before it is all said and done? Japan.
I like how we both said that.
I didn't even know that was your answer.
Yeah, Japan.
So why? Out of curiosity.
The food, the culture, everything.
So what's the culture to you? Because I had this conversation with an Uber driver.
Everything about it, how different it is compared to our culture, how things in our culture can be considered so rude, and then in their culture, like there are things that I've heard before, like certain things you cannot do with food utensils while you're eating because it's rude. Like sticking your chopsticks in like the dish a certain way comes off as rude. And it's crazy because a lot of that stuff is just fascinating to me because it's such a drastically different culture. Because I mean, think about it. If we go to Canada, there's not much difference in our culture there.
I mean, there is, but not like a system shock like Japan is.
Like that. Yeah. It's not going to be super different there.
Now, it doesn't hurt that we like technology a lot. And obviously Japan is like really big in technology.
They have the game arcades. They have the shopping malls. They have everything. They have cafes that are specific to a certain video game. There's a Final Fantasy 14 cafe.
That's awesome.
Yep, and I can't think of what it's called, but it's
everybody just goes there with like their laptops and PlayStations and just starts playing.
I think it's called Eorzea Cafe, which is Eorzea is the world that Final Fantasy 14 takes place in.
That's cool.
But yeah, it's like I don't think you go there and play. I think it's like I've seen pictures of it. It's literally a cafe modeled like something in the game, and you eat food from in the game at the cafe.
That's cool.
You don't go there to play.
That's cool.
It is super cool. But
I imagine like a coffee house that you just go to and like drink some coffee, and everybody there is just on their laptops playing. They've got like really cool internet, like really good internet, so everybody can go in there and play.
Fiber.
Yeah, just really crazy.
But yeah, Japan definitely.
So for me,
I love it.
For me, similar things. I do like that their culture is so different, but the number one thing that stands out for me is specifically their values. I think that, in my opinion, their value, and it's not saying bad anything here. I'm slightly envious of how good their values are. I like that people do not litter in Japan.
Well, that's kind of what I meant with etiquette.
Well, it comes down to it's respect, and it's respect that we do not give each other here on a day-to-day basis. Now, we don't consider it a bad thing because that's not what our culture has taught us. That's not what society here has taught us. But I like that almost everything you do is towards respect. They focus. That's awesome. But yeah, they do like, there's people talk about all the time that like when you get older in Japan, they'll kind of give you a window job instead of just forcing you to quit or anything until you're old enough to retire. It's as a sign of respect for your time with the company. The fact that people don't litter when you go to concerts and stuff, people make sure they pick up after themselves. They make sure that there's no trash. They care about the way that things look outside. We don't. You can go, there's plenty of places downtown here alone that
2 blocks down a convenience
trash.
store. Yeah, it looks like trash.
I mean, it's awful. So it's just it's a weird respect thing, but I like that. The fact that they seem to respect everybody and that they have, everybody has different ideas about healthcare and stuff, but again, the way that their society is, they care. They want everybody to pay into a system, and you go to the doctor and you get seen quickly, and you get seen for free, or not necessarily for free, but very, very reduced cost. One of our Uber drivers is talking about it, and he says it gets that to an extent. It can't work in an area like America because we're so big, and that's an argument that goes a bunch of different ways, and we are very big, and Japan is not.
Was he Japanese?
No,
okay.
But he had lived in Japan for like a couple of years.
Oh, okay.
Doing some stuff, and he said he had a issue over there, and he had to get surgery, and he only had to pay $50 out of his own pocket,
which is what, like 5,000 yen?
Yeah, something like that. So
that's
I
just
thought that was amazing. He said it's a really cool place to be. He said he didn't necessarily know that he'd want to go back, but it's really like he suggested everyone lives there at least once.
I like
that. I agree that, again, just difference in culture. It doesn't mean our culture's wrong. I just think that system shock would be nice. It would be cool to walk around to a place and everyone's just really nice to you and respectful of each other's space and everything. And that's not true here necessarily.
Well, and one of my things is that like I always told myself and anybody around me is that like if I ever come into a large sum of money, like millions of dollars, I'm not going to do the thing and buy like a huge mansion. I'm probably going to buy like a nice house in Fort Worth. And then a nice, not like super luxury car, nothing like that, but like two new nice cars for me and Annie. And then I would take a couple weeks or a month of vacation. And then the rest of it would be savings and donating because like I don't need that much money for the rest of my life. I could live off of less than that because I've been doing it so well without it. But anyways, back on to the questions. We have Ryan. This is his revised question from last week. I like your question from last week better. Can we answer that one instead? It's less hard.
No.
Okay.
You answer the most recent one.
So Ryan said music preferences. What did I just say? This sounds like a cold drug. Music preferences and all-time favorite bands. One each, no time cheating. Or no cheating.
Damn, he got me. He knows that I'm a big fan of the runner-up because I don't feel like I have to leave anybody that's really important to me out.
Exactly. I'm going to do it anyways.
Damn you, Ryan.
No, I'm going to do it anyways. I can't not do it.
I'm going to follow the rules. If I've been told out on it and I'm called, I'm going to follow the rules here. So here we go. Music preferences, Ryan, me and you talked about it, but I'm going to go on a little bit of a broader thing. I like a lot of different, I mean, I tend to lean more towards what most people call rock and metal. Genreification is something that's super weird, where they give everything a genre.
Like post-hardcore.
And it's really hard to keep up with, but I mean, so I'm just going to go into the fact that I just generally like rock and metal. I like some stuff that's a little more traditional, just radio rock. It's not common that I do, but my number one thing I've been on for, I mean, like good 5 years almost, is specifically music that's focused around a spoken word delivery. Now, they're still very different. Being as an Ocean is one of those bands. A Lot of Disputes, one of those bands. There's plenty of bands that do it. There's a band that I really like that actually aren't signed, at least last time I checked they weren't, called Funeral Tyler. Check those guys out. They're really good. I appreciate it. They have a really good, their EP, I can't remember off the top of my head. Joy, I think is the name of the EP. Really good. Solid. I think it's 6 songs, maybe 5. Really solid. I love them. There's plenty of bands that are like that. But going off of my absolute favorite band, all-time favorite, of course, that's something that changes.
I thought you were going to say all-time low. I was like, what?
No, but that's something that changes with me occasionally. But more consistently than not, it is Hotel Books. Now, their newest album has not hit me the same way, and I keep listening to it. I do enjoy it, but it's not as strong as their previous releases for me so far. But I still stand wholly beside that. Even if they never put out another album, the body of work they have so far, excluding the most recent album, is the strongest, most emotionally eliciting. Like it's such a weird thing to try to talk about, but I love it. I mean, that's where I pull with music. I like music that gets me very emotionally stirred, and there's something about that that's calming to me. And I guess it kind of like reasserts the fact that we're all human, because a lot of people go through and you see people with this idea of, oh, they never look sad. They never look like, they always look happy. They must live a really good life. But the truth is that we all go through hardship and hard times, and we all really experience the human condition in different ways.
Right.
But we all have similar moments where we can feel like, I relate to that. I understand that. And it's funny because I know that me and Ryan have the same feelings in terms of video games. It's one of my favorite things about Nier. There's a lot of things that make you think on a more personal level about things. That game is very rooted with existential crisis and things like that going on with the robots. They're kind of confused. The androids pick up into that, even with what you see.
It's almost like a form of racism in a weird way.
It's all, that game goes through a million different things.
Yeah,
but I don't want to say too much, but
don't.
That's part of why I'm so, just enamored with Detroit and all of Quantic Dreams games, is that they go that extra mile to give you real world situations, things that happen in real life that aren't necessarily comfortable, but they happen and they're relatable. And being able to take that and roll with that, there's something so comforting about being able to know that people are not afraid to tackle real world situations in any medium of art, and that's what all this is, art.
Right.
Some people take it their own way. Some people say video games can't be art. Everything is art. Anything that people create is their own form of art. Even if it's just numbers on a screen that they don't mean, the person who coded the computer, that's art, man. That is art. I don't care what you say. And it's funny because that allows other people to so much easier get into their art. So it's a weird hierarchy of that. But that's me. Hotel Books, if you've never heard of them and you are at least somewhat interested in hearing what a spoken word band is and what they really are, I think that's the perfect example. If you like a little heavier stuff, try out Being as an Ocean. I think that they're really great. At least their first couple of albums are. They started to lose me a little further down the line, but I still appreciate them as a band. So, Saul, what is it? Go for it.
Okay, so similar to
one band, don't cheat.
No, I'm going to go with my musical preferences first, and this is where I am going to cheat, because I'm going to name a lot of bands in my musical preferences.
Oh, yeah, I did that too.
Okay, yeah. So I like post-hardcore, I guess is what it's called. Post-hardcore, then there's another hardcore. I can't think of what that's called, what they typically refer to it as. Or it might
name a band.
It might just be hardcore, like where it's like, I like stuff like Under Oath, Seosin.
Metalcore, a lot of
metalcore. That's what it was. Yeah.
To some, I don't know. I really hate genres because I'm sure there's someone who doesn't agree with that. I'm sure someone's they're not metalcore.
Yeah,
but
there's way too many nowadays. But stuff like that, like I'm trying to think. I the Mighty is somebody I've been listening to a lot lately. Another really, really good band I've been listening to a lot lately is Adola, which are kind of on the heavier side. But if I was just to go through my Google Play Music, I'd see Geodos, which is a little bit older, A Day to Remember, in that category at least. Hands Like House kind of fits in that category.
Well, Hands Like House is really, definitely their newest album is very rock oriented.
Yeah.
But Yeah,
But
I agree
Memphis
with you.
Mayflower, those
Yeah,
kind of
that's
bands.
Memphis Mayflower. Memphis Mayflower, older at least, is metalcore.
Yeah.
Not old, because that's weird Southern metal.
And I like,
core.
yeah, kind of. That, what was it, Chattanooga?
Chattanooga.
But other than bands like that, I like punk rock, pop punk, whatever it's called.
Yeah, pop punk's great.
Neck Deep, Blink 182, Sum 41, State Champs. There's a lot of that. There's a lot of bands that I like in that particular realm. But if I had to go with a favorite band of all time, could you guess it?
A Day to Remember?
No. Dance Gavin. It's
Oh,
Dance
yeah,
Gavin Dance.
I know that. I know
Dance
that.
Gavin Dance.
You know,
probably,
I like to pretend that they don't exist.
Yeah, I know. Even though you're insulting Tillian by doing so.
I'm not insulting Tillian because Tides of Man is much better.
No, but I know, but still, he's still in Dance Gavin Dance. He was also in the new Eye of the Mighty record, which is pretty good. But
Specifically
yeah.
on Silver Tongues, right?
Yeah, that's a good song.
All right. Well, anyway, we talked about enough music, but Ryan, good question. I like that, and it's kind of an interesting thing for people to get to know us a little bit more if they care. If you don't, then sorry, we wasted like probably 10 minutes of your time talking about music we love.
Yeah.
For anybody who just wants a weird kickoff, and I'm just going to throw it out there because as an artist, it's really hard to want to put yourself out there. If you're ever curious about the times that I've said I've worked on music stuff, or I've been working on music stuff, we are on, me and Blaze, the one who joined me last week and has joined me before on the thing, we had a band going called Near Conversion, and you can find us on Google Play Music and iTunes and all that. Our EP is called No Change, and it's a bunch of weird spelling, but don't worry about that. Because I don't think it shows up on that. I think it shows up, it just says No Change, like KNOW change. Anyway, check that out. That's also spoken word. That's, that's something that inspired me to do that. I love that. And then most recent thing I've done is with some new buddies, and it's a band called Atlas and Legend, and it's kind of older emo music, like
Hawthorne Heights.
Hawthorne Heights somewhat styles
The
to
good
it.
stuff.
A little bit of just like early 2000s emo stuff, like My Chemical Romance and stuff like that. But it's also got some spoken word in it as well. It's really good, I think. But Atlas and Legend, and you can find that not on there just yet, but it's on Bandcamp if you are that curious. Actually, I'll just link it in the Twitter just for shits and giggles. I think that's funny, just to kind of let people see what we've done with our personal lives in some ways. So. But moving on from that, what other reader mail that we have that's real good?
We have Mr. Steve Bitto. He says, do you think Star Wars The Last Jedi is feeling ripple effects from the Battlefront to debacle? I don't know what's up with my pronunciation today. Seems unlikely with how massive the franchise is, but I personally felt some magic melt away after that. I wonder if there are others who feel similar.
So when we first read this right before we started recording, Saul, give him your response because I thought it was interesting.
Definitely no for me. I definitely keep that kind of thing separate in my mind. Very, very, very well separate. Especially since they're not it's not a movie adaptation of a game or vice versa. I still can keep those pretty separate depending on if it's a book or if it's a movie. Like Prince of Persia as the movie wasn't too bad, but it was pretty mediocre.
Yeah, I agree.
But yeah, I can keep that stuff completely separate. It's EA I don't like. It's not Disney. It's not Star Wars. But I can see how you would get to that point with Star Wars being the skin of the product you don't like.
Well, and it's putting a bad taste in people's mouths from Star Wars as a thing. So I kind of get where he's coming from. I take it as him going, "Oh Lord, you made my laptop click or something."
I don't know what.
Anyway, I kind of get where he's coming from. It's like it's a franchise as a whole, and considering that these things release so quickly, you still have the bad taste in your mouth from Battlefront. So going into Star Wars as a franchise in your head is just a little sullied at the moment. You're like, I don't know. He's saying like he didn't. I guarantee he's saying like he wasn't as excited to go see The Last Jedi. I haven't seen it yet. It just came out, and movie theaters are crazy around here.
Super excited to see it.
I'm excited to see it. Cautiously so. I am with every Star Wars movie because everyone has such wildly different opinions on it. I still stand beside the fact that I think that Revenge of the Sith is a great movie. I don't care what anyone says. It will always be a good movie. Does it lean way too heavily on CGI? Yes, it does. Does that mean it's a bad movie? No, it doesn't. 2, awful. Worst movie in the series. Almost no reason to be there. 1, kind of just weird. And then the other 3 are fine.
The CGI in 2, specifically during the Clone Wars battle, was ridiculous.
Horrendous. Yeah, but that in the first movie there was stuff like that too. But the first
like
movie,
the Gundam battles.
the first movie was just had more going for it in terms of interests, in my opinion, like spectacle of what you're kind of looking at and learning about. Oh, this is Anakin. This is his situation. Darth Maul was a really good enemy. I feel like Count Dooku in the end of 2 was just
there.
It seemed like it was weirdly rushed.
I mean, they killed him off in the first 30 minutes of 3. So it's kind of like he was there as a good. I know why he was there. I know his story, but I'm pretty sure he was really just there to cut Anakin's hand off. Like that seems like and I understand like what was going on and everything. And
that's a good point though.
That was his ultimate push to the dark side of him killing Count Dooku, or Darth Tyrannus is his actual Sith name is. But yeah, I mean I can see that since it kind of tainted Star Wars as a game series, it could taint you as a movie viewer.
But I'm going to say as a whole, I still do agree with Saul, because here's the thing about games in specific. Games have, in terms of franchise games and licensed games, up until recently, most games that got made that were based off of movie franchises and book franchises and stuff like that were never good. And you just had to get a licensed game was just a licensed game, and you never really cared about it. When's the last time that you watched Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs and then played the game and were like, that game was just as good as that movie? It's just not. It never is.
I mean, go back to the late 80s or early 90s. I think it was actually early 90s.
E.T.'s game is the game that caused the whole, that's the game that most people put on that leveraged the whole collapse of the gaming industry.
There's still craters of that game in there. And it's crazy how much those games are worth. But yeah, go look at the Super Mario Brothers movie. It's garbage.
And it was based, and it goes both ways. Movie games are hardly ever good, and game movies are hardly ever good. It's just it's trying to jump mediums like that is always really hard, because they're wildly different. Expectations are different. That game was awful.
The game was fun. I love that game.
It's hard, and it's just a platformer. It's literally a platformer with the skin of it on there. I don't even consider it. And that was back before stories were told. So it's literally just playing a platformer game that's like playing Earthworm Jim with a Lion King skin.
There was a game that I had, the Toy Story game on PC that was super good, and a Toy Story game I had on Super Nintendo.
There was a Buzz Lightyear Star Command game on Dreamcast that I loved. So good.
Did you play as Buzz Lightyear the entire game?
Yes, you did.
That may be the one I'm thinking of.
It's so PC. Good. And you had to collect the little, the aliens. I can't remember what their actual names are. The ones that,
Was it like a free roam game?
Kind of.
So you could roam around the house?
Kind of. There was moments like that, but you were also being little maps, and you had to fight Zer and stuff like that. And there was actually, it's funny because not all examples are bad. And also sometimes that you're young, you don't realize that they're bad. There was a Tasmania, a Taz game for that Star Command. Boy, it was a good show. There was a Taz game for the GameCube PS2 that was really good that I loved. I played the hell out of it, but it's funny. I get where you're coming from, but I don't necessarily agree with it all the time. So I'm going to move on from that one. Looks like Saul's trying to look at that Buzz Lightyear. That's it. Boy, Buzz Lightyear Star Command. So good.
Our last question, though, goes out to Richard Rivero. Rivera. Where am I getting these letters from?
You add letters into every word, Saul.
I had words in every sentence.
You said Virtue Go a minute ago for the game on the drop, and it's Vertigo.
That's not spelled like normal Vertigo, though.
It was Vertigo with capital G-O. That was all.
No, I got to go back and look at that. If that's so, that's embarrassing. Richard wants to know, do you guys have a long backlog, and do you guys finish every game you purchase? Absolutely not.
Okay, backlog, yes, because
weird
situations, I guess, is kind of what's been going on. Black Friday, I saw opportunity, so I went ahead and bought into some games, and then at PSX, my boy Gio Corsi gave me Danganronpa V3 because he had a grab bag of games. He was just giving them out.
That's a good. You get on Vita or PS4?
PS4.
That's a good game to get given.
I got Danganronpa V3 and Crash Bandicoot, and then I ended up trading Crash Bandicoot for Everybody's Golf. So now I have 2.
V3's Trigger Happy Havoc, right?
Yeah,
that's not 2.
I think so. I don't know. It's over there.
Okay.
Still wrapped.
Yeah, dude, I'm telling you, if it's Trigger Happy Havoc, that game is amazing.
V3 just came out this year. I know that much. But regardless.
What's the one I played on Vita?
Yeah, I have a little bit of a backlog. Not just huge, but I do have one. And I would like to beat every game that I purchase, but I just don't. I mean, it's hard. Definitely lately, 2 weeks. I have 3 dot hack games to go through. I'm halfway, maybe 3/4 of the way through the first one. I can't do anything about that. Had a cabinet situation, going out of town, just have a lot of stuff going on, but I plan on getting back to that. I was loving that. So that's my first thing I want to go to. So no, I don't beat every game that I purchase, but I think that's a really good question, actually. I'm surprised no one's asked that to us.
It is Virtue Go.
Okay, sorry.
I was like, there's no way that I had.
I'll take the rap on that one. I'm the idiot.
I was like, there's no way that I had that big. But if you guys ever want to ask us questions like this during the episode, just follow us on Triangle SQRD. I also threw out a question, or I threw it out in the Discord, but everybody in our Discord is from Europe.
Not everybody, but a lot of
most
people.
of them. Most of our active people are from Europe, and they're probably sleeping right now because it's almost 4 p.m. here. So I don't know what time it is there.
Me either. I don't get the time.
It might be.
time
I think
gaps.
it might be a 12-hour difference. I think where it's 4 a.m. there.
Well, we got some kind of Discord response. It may have been you.
No, that was World End talking about the Nier thing on PC.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, totally disregarded me, World End, on the question. You always, we want to hear from you, World End. You have been there for a long, long time. We want to throw you in some episodes with some opinions. But that's it for our reader mail this episode. This has actually gone on for a while because we're about 45 minutes in. But our main topic is pretty much the FCC and what this is going to mean with net neutrality and them killing it. And what it is going to mean for us in video games mainly. It's not really going to, it is going to affect us in different ways, but we're not going to go over that. We're going to go over video games and what it can affect for video games. So for those that don't know, Congress on Friday, days are mixed up again, Thursday.
Oh, yeah. He's talking about when they
ruled.
It wasn't Congress. It was the FCC voted.
Yeah, that's right. It hasn't gone to Congress yet.
Yeah.
But they have killed net neutrality. For those that don't know,
they voted to repeal it. It was a vote of 3-2.
3-2, yeah.
That's really important to say.
A lot of people called that exact vote ratio,
thing,
which is nuts.
Because they basically were very vocal about what they wanted. So everybody knew it was going to be a 3-2.
Yeah, because
I will say that the 3 who voted for it didn't really have much of an argument for it. They didn't say much. It was just they voted for it.
Right.
And the 2 dissenting votes were very passionate and very outspoken.
They were very well spoken in their defenses on why we shouldn't have done it. And I actually highly recommend you guys to go watch the video that was live streamed. And just if you're going to watch any of it, watch that one part. It's interesting to see the minds that voted it in and what they're thinking when they did it. But for those that don't know, it is going to basically allow anything that ISPs want to do to limit you. They can add packages to where you could go to only Netflix and Facebook.
Okay, hold on. So there needs to be a starter course here a little bit because what ended up happening. So a little more than that though. So Josh Drago, as you know him, he messaged me on Facebook the other day and he saw it. And I've seen a couple of gamers that do this, and they're like, we see what it is. We see that there's a vocal outcry. We don't quite understand what it is and how it affects us. So the number one thing that needs to be said is it will not affect everyone the same. It will affect people differently. It'll have less of an effect on us than it will people who have Comcast as an internet service provider.
Because we have
what's called Cable One, and they're very small. They don't have the kind of power that someone like Comcast has in this situation. So what net neutrality does, or actually what the repeal of net neutrality does, is opens up venues for them to do what people call giving speed highways to certain services that they've either got some kind of stock in or some kind of interest in from a money position, or from people that bundle with them. So breaking it down I think that the smartest way to go about it is an example. And it's going into the gaming side of things. So a lot of people want to know, how does it affect gaming? Now, it doesn't affect a lot of different ways. It doesn't affect gaming only. That's really important to say. Right, some people think it does.
That's all we're focusing on.
Yeah, it affects all internet. It has the potential to affect all internet. Right. That's important too. Because some people are saying that just because it's repealed doesn't mean anything. What it is that it being repealed means that we are now at the mercy of the companies. And the companies are almost always going to do what's in their favor.
And they can do package programs. They can do that. So like right now we get we have the streamer plan. We have one of the highest plans that our
cable
provider.
One.
Yeah, our cable provider.
Me and you both have the same one, right?
Yeah, and it could go from, what is our download speeds? Like
200 megabytes per second is our download speed.
Not mine. My PS4 gets 380 when it's plugged in.
Nah, it's not supposed to be right.
I know it's... No, I'm pretty sure ours is supposed to be 700.
Hold on. You remember yours was going down?
Oh, wait.
Yours might be updated and mine's not. But
yeah, that's right.
That's what their setup was, and that's what mine still is.
So okay. I'm pretty sure it's 700 gigabytes of data per month, and it's
750 gigs download. So this is data cap. Data cap of 750 gigs that you have access to.
Right.
Speed-wise, for me, is 200 gigs, 200 megabytes per second, whatever his is.
Mine's 500, and I think it's 30 up, which...
That's really good. I need that. They need to hurry up over here.
You go ahead and you pay that extra money.
Well, no, I have the highest one.
Oh wait, that's right. Yeah,
they haven't upgraded the infrastructure.
They finally did the lines.
Yeah,
they finally did all that and cut my internet.
And it's weird because we live right down the street.
Yeah, but so like what you could very well see is that you may pay $60 now for an internet plan. However, a very real possibility is that in a year from now, that $60 plan may not include PlayStation. You may have to pay $80 if you want PlayStation access. Or it could be a gaming thing, like where you have a gaming package, which is already what our ISP kind of does with the names. But
yeah, because they know the gamers are going to use more data. Yeah, so they're using that as a pull for their data package.
And probably what will happen is that there's probably going to be a normal internet plan where you're going to get all the websites you typically use back, Reddit, Facebook, YouTube, everything. But it's probably going to cost $200 a month. It's going to be expensive. And there are people who just can't afford that. And
okay, so again, that's something you're hopping into expecting that they know. So going further off, I mean,
I don't know how else to explain.
Hold on, you touched it, but you got to. I'm telling you, some people, if you don't follow this stuff enough, and this isn't even insulting anyone's intelligence. If you don't follow stuff enough, you may not understand what all is going on. So, like I said, I wanted to use an example and a real simple one.
That's what I was doing. Packages. That's not a hard example.
But you're putting too much stuff into it. So let's go on a really small level, one-on-one. Easiest way to say it. Comcast is the most common internet provider in America.
Unfortunately.
So we're going to say Comcast. Comcast either buys Xbox or Xbox buys Comcast or something along the lines happen, or they partner. So now Xbox under Comcast is automatically included in their service. But if you want to play PlayStation on that service, you now have to pay $10 a month or extra. And then so people go, okay, well, you already paid $10 to get on PlayStation. Well, this is $10 on top of that. So you pay for PSN separately. And then used to access to the PSN and the PS Store was free. But now to even access this service, you have to pay an extra $10 a month to even access it. That's one reality that could happen.
That's $240 a year of your money.
Now, then what happens, another option, and these are just made up numbers. Nobody knows what they'd actually do. But then another option is that access to PlayStation's possible, but you get slower speeds. And if you're with them and you have Xbox, you get what's called a speed highway, and you get high speeds automatically just for having them as a cable provider. So what that does is it strangles PlayStation, because what ends up happening is like me. Okay, let's just say I'm in an area where PlayStation partners with somebody, but I don't have access to them in my area. I am now forced to be on Comcast and most likely going to be nudged to want to switch over to Xbox, because if I'm playing online and downloading stuff and buying games online, the speeds will support what I want to do more so than PlayStation. And that's what it does. Is it strong arm? The idea behind it is that if these things get into place, they can strong arm you into using one thing. So right. The most common the most common example that people use, because it's a little more universal, is Netflix and Hulu, because you can kind of call that binary. So let's just say Comcast buys into Hulu. They own Hulu. They might, for all I know. I don't even know. And so say you have Comcast and you have Hulu. You get to watch Hulu. Great speeds, everything, high def, no problem. If you get on Netflix on there and they don't have the speed highway, you can watch Netflix, but when you watch it, it streams really slow if you try and go in high def. But if you go at 480, it works okay. So then what are you done? Now you're like, well, if I want to watch the stuff at high def like I was, I guess I need to switch to Hulu, just because my cable provider includes it. Otherwise, to get a speed highway for Netflix, you have to pay an extra $10 a month to them. It's detrimental to what I consider to be great about the internet, is that there's a million different choices, and that the internet in and of itself right now is its own market. But that market has to have some kind of backing, because what ends up happening is they treat it like this cable service. And that's what most people are scared of, is that internet service will become a cable service, to where if I pay for cable right now,
you're paying for.
If you pay for basic cable, you do not get sports channels. You have to pay a premium to get sports channels. Where Saul was going with it is that you can pay for base internet, and base internet will kind of get you access to most websites. But then if you want to specifically go to gaming stuff, you have to get the gaming package separately. Add it on. Bam.
Maybe there's a plan where you could pay like $40 a month to play PlayStation, Nintendo, Xbox all in one plan or something. That's $40 a month that you have to pay on top of the service plans that they already pay for, that you already owe. So if you just pay $10 a monthly basis for PlayStation Plus, that's $120 right there a month that you're paying, plus Xbox, plus Nintendo if you have it, plus the internet fee. And I can guarantee you right now that the internet speeds aren't going to be as fast as they are now. Then they're going to be charging upwards for those two. And it is so detrimental that it very well could affect millions of content creators, including us. If we get stuck with a very crappy plan, this could be like, it could be the end of Triangle Squared. Imagine the highest plan costs $500 a month and it's what we have now. We can't pay that.
Yeah,
we won't
absolutely.
pay that.
Now, that's also a very worst case scenario, but
right.
the window is now opened for that opportunity to take place.
Exactly.
And I think, so what some people are worried about too with the general thing is that we already see data caps. But what we see with data caps right now is that after, at least in our area, if we go over our data cap 3 months in a row, or 3 months, not even in a row, just 3 months.
I thought it was in a row.
No, it's just in general. 3 months. And if you go over that data cap 3 months, they automatically bump you up to the next level up. What happens when
you don't have the money to pay for that?
Yeah, well, because right now, even though you go over, you're not charging anything extra for it. They just eventually bump you up. On your phone, if you went over, AT&T, stuff like that, if you go over, you pay so much money per gig past your allotted amount.
Yeah.
If that happens online, you don't realize you're over, bam. Now you're having to pay an extra
bucks,
just because you went over your gigabyte data. And that's weird because what happens if you have kids in the house who don't understand, who aren't thinking about this thing? It creates a weird area where you have to be thoughtful of what you're doing. Now you'd be like, well, how much Netflix am I going to watch versus how much gaming am I going to play?
Yeah.
How much
it puts restraints
downloading
on
of games am I going to do? Because, okay, if that happens and you're worried about going over your limit and you can only afford a certain limit and you're trying to download all your games digitally. All right, what happens when you download 2 games, watch a little Netflix, play online games, you're like, crap, I'm at my limit, but there's 3 games coming out in the next couple of weeks that I want, but I'm not going to have more data until a month from now.
Or guess what? Guess what's the biggest trend nowadays? Having to be online to play a video game.
Oh, yeah.
You can't play a video game that requires online. And there are a lot of single-player games out there that require that, which is good, which very well could be one of the things that, like, will dictate your purchase in the future, is that if you have to be online. And if you do, you may not be able to buy it because you have to use that data. And you may not have it at some point, or you may have just enough of it not to be able to play this game. It's absolutely crazy. And a lot of people, they don't only, like, you may think, okay, well, I don't play online games this much. This doesn't affect me. Oh, no, it does. Because all the developers that use cloud saving, all the developers that use the internet for assets of the video games to store online.
PS Plus automatically sending your save to the cloud. That's something you're it's not gone, but you're going to want to watch it.
Yeah, you'll turn it off because
you'll be like, oh, I don't know if I can afford that data.
Yeah.
And I do think it's important to constantly say that these aren't things that are for sure in the docket to happen just because net neutrality is gone. It just continues to open the doors for these possibilities. The main reason behind why they said that net neutrality was a bad thing is that it's stifling investment into internet, which if you look at all the numbers, there's just no proof that that's true. Internet adoption has risen with technology adoption. No reason against that. Cell phones use data, everything like that. More people are connected online literally pretty much every day than ever before. Every day gets more and more and more and more. Every year, the number of people who are connected is much more than the year before. People who are elderly who didn't quite use technology as much are dying off. Younger generations are coming in. They're learning how to use technology at an earlier age. It's more part of their life when you go to school. Schools now, half the schools in our school district use Chromebooks for everything.
Which is nuts to me because
5 years ago, well, I guess 7 years ago,
nearly 10
I was in there, whatever. It may have been 8 now. But when we were in there, we couldn't even have our cell phones out.
Yeah, and now it's required to have a cell phone-like device. My watch has Wi-Fi. Like, come on. Like, everything in this world is revolving around that. Like, it is detrimental that it doesn't happen. Because here's the problem, is that we can always say, oh, that's worst case scenario.
But what happens when it happens? Yeah,
well, that's the problem is that, like, do you want that really to be a possible scenario to happen? You don't. Because I'm telling you, developers, like small developers will shut down. They can't afford to. I was reading an article, and I forgot who the actual developer was in hand. See if I can find it real quick. I'll talk about it. But they're talking about how, like, for them to be sending emails back and forth, having video calls, Skype calls, all this stuff was going to be required to do this. Like, it is required to do the game. And
do things like publishing deals and going to shows.
It wasn't Chucklefish. Who was it? But yeah, it's you don't think about anytime you use the internet. I'm doing it right now to look up this right here. And
It's so second nature to us.
Yeah, and
For a lot of people, but I do think that there's something important to say about people who don't have internet at all. And the problem are who don't have access to internet and things like that, or they have very limited access. What happens if we have this data cap? You go over your data cap, you are trying to get a job, and you go to a job, and they're like, great, you got to apply online because
everybody, all jobs are like that nowadays.
Almost every job is like that. Paper applications are rare.
Yep.
So when you walk into a place, the problem with net neutrality being gone is that being able to treat this like a service instead of a necessity that it really has become means that it will automatically alienate people who can't afford this.
Yep.
And that means when you have to do a job, some job places are nice. Walmart's one of those things when you walk in, they have a computer already set up. That way they know that you can do it even if you don't have internet. Some places you walk in, they're like, well, sorry, if you don't have internet, you can't apply.
Exactly. And here's another thing that people like, this is like pretty much confirmed that if things take a turn for the worse and internet becomes limited and slow, people haven't even thought about it. Live streaming will not be a thing anymore. It'll be nearly impossible. And then here's the problem is that the people who are rich enough, the live streamers that have made enough money and have made names out of themselves, they're not gonna have an audience. Because if you have that much money...
Well, yeah, they're going to have smaller... So there'll be a smaller pool of people doing it, and there'll be a smaller audience, yeah.
Right, yeah. Your audience is going to be...
And net neutrality, I guess it's also important to say that net neutrality is specifically in place for America here.
Yeah.
This doesn't necessarily affect outer countries.
I saw a comment on Reddit saying, like, I'm so glad I'm in Europe, and he said, wait. He's like, we get most of our ideas from America. And I was just like, yeah, like, it could happen anywhere, but I pray to anybody... that it doesn't. Like, what people also need to know is that this isn't over. Just because it was Rule 32, that it is not over.
So what this does is it pulls the net neutrality bill into Congress. Congress now determines what happens. It's important to say that this is not the first time that this has happened, that net neutrality has been put, and then Congress killed the repeal.
It's been under different names. Like, if you remember SOPA.
The Open Internet Act and stuff like that.
Yeah, all that stuff was the same thing, and except that now there's actually things in this that could make it worse with the way data caps and stuff have already been incorporated. It's actually, you have data caps to worry about. Back then, when SOPA was a thing, you didn't. Back in like 2012 or 13, when SOPA was a big ordeal, you never had data caps back then.
Actually, it's funny. Cable One, our internet provider, again, at one point in time tried to put in data caps, right? Yeah. This is back when we lived at the little house. They tried putting in data caps. People got furious about it, wrote into them, started dropping their services, and they go, whoa. They flipped right back around. 4 years later, 2 years, 3 years later, they did it again.
Yeah, because the problem is that our particular ISP is pretty much having a monopoly in this town. They have the best service. They have the best speeds.
And it's funny because their best service isn't even that good.
Well, yeah. I mean, I've never had a bad...
No. Great download speeds, horrible upload speeds. Blaze lives in the country, gets 100 down and 100 up. That is amazing. 100 down is not just the best thing in the world, but 100 up is insane.
Yeah.
We get 200, my current package, 200
just wait till you're
down, 10 up.
Yeah, I think mine, yeah. Just wait till
20 times quicker download speeds than upload speeds.
Yeah. And
how does that even make sense?
But that's the thing, is that they know that, like, we have Windstream. They're garbage. I couldn't even connect in a party chat while playing on Grand Theft Auto online with friends.
While somebody's trying to watch Netflix or something like that. That happens.
Yeah, like, Windstream is garbage. Cable One's always been fast. I've had them for probably 20 years now. Like, that's always been the internet.
Cable One is the only DSL in our area. That's what it is.
Windstream's
broadband. Windstream's DSL.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say, I thought
I flipped my head around. Yeah, no, but so that's part of the issue. And there's the company that Blaze has can't work within our city limits because they're
out of city limits.
Yeah, because they're limited, and a lot of it comes down to infrastructure and who can use infrastructure. And I guess I get that Cable One paid to lay infrastructure here. Of course, they get to.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense in a business standpoint. It always does. That's always the unfortunate thing about it, because this bill sounds good depending on who you're listening to it from, but you always know that it's all not true. Like, I've seen...
It's just that this is something that's not... It's different. If this wasn't something that's a necessity, cell phones, not a necessity. And you know what? I love my cell phone, but it's not a necessity. Internet almost is. Now, does it also have the great benefit of also just being something that we enjoy on a superlative level? Of course. We get to have we leisure on the internet a lot. But to some extent, we need internet.
Yeah,
people
I would
need
argue,
internet.
I would argue that a cell phone is a necessity nowadays. Like with
It's,
everything
I mean,
that
it's
it could potentially do.
getting more and more. I guess it's more about saving your life and stuff, but you can function without it.
Well, like somebody at work was criticizing me, or not criticizing, but making fun of me because I used to carry all my like credit cards and stuff in my phone wallet. You remember that little flip case I had? That was a phone case.
Yeah, I remember.
And they were like, "Well, what happens if they all get lost? Or like if somebody steals your phone, they get it all in one package?" And I joked with them. I said, "Now I have this watch. I can actually freeze all my accounts on my watch, which is nuts. It is absolutely crazy the amount of things you could do with your phone and your smartwatches
Just
or
quickly.
your tablets that you could do so quickly. Like, it is such a weird feature that you can go up to a debit terminal and hit your watch to it and pay for what you're buying. It's so weird that I can send you $300 almost instantly from this device in my hand, and then you have it. Sure, it takes a while to go to your bank account, but it's the fact that I just did it. But what people, they just don't realize that especially now, with people who don't have unlimited cell phone plans, you're really going to be strapped for internet if this thing hits hard, because you're not going to be able to use not only the phone on the internet on your phone, but the internet on your at home either.
Well, it's important to say the internet on your phone has already seen some bits of what net neutrality's repeal is trying to go towards.
The whole data caps, like the whole negativity between data caps and throttling.
Yeah, and throttling because like Cable One. I mean, I have unlimited on this phone, right? And that beautiful thing. Anyway, I have unlimited on there, but still, even though it's unlimited, if I hit 24 gigs, they throttle my speed, or they have the ability to throttle my speed. That's not cool. I mean, oh well, I have to live with it. That's not cool.
I'm gonna buy this case.
Do it.
Show that pretty old case to the camera right there. You can't really see it. It's
You like
Majara's
that?
mask. It just looks like Majara's mask.
No,
it's the Yorha
symbol.
Coincidentally, both have. Well, I wouldn't say this game really. I was gonna say both have moons in them, but
I guess, yeah.
Emil always made me think it's a moon.
Okay.
Just because the way Emil looks.
Yeah.
Is it based off a moon? Oh. Well, anyways, though, like that's the thing is, like it's politics. I know some people don't like politics. I don't like politics.
This is more than politics, though.
This
is affecting.
No, I'm saying some people wouldn't want to get into like researching it. I've heard some people say that that this whole thing's a leftist movement. That like they're too scared to lose their precious little internet. And it's like, oh boy,
I've heard that too. But look, it doesn't matter. If you like internet and you like the idea of what internet's been before, free and open internet, which is what it is, you have equal access to all websites and all information databases and all that stuff. If you value that, and you've always valued that, now that this has moved to Congress, it's very important for you to understand that if you're in America and this is what you want, you need to find ways to reach out to your state representatives. You need to be vocal to them, tweet at them, email them, go to their things. They have little things where you can send them in. A lot of them have things specifically regarding the net neutrality where you send it in, they automatically bank it into there. You need to know that everything about this comes down to one of these situations of this is purely political now. So it comes down all the way to the level of these people who are going to be representatives want to be re-voted in. That's just the life of it. If they want to be re-voted in, they almost are going to have to listen to you to do it. Be vocal. Go out there. Tell them what you want. If they do not do that, they know that if they don't do that, if they have enough vocal support behind it, that they risk losing their seat.
Also,
okay?
I do know that there are a few listeners who live in Arkansas with us. Just so you know, our senator is against free internet. Our senator voted.
Our senator's against a lot of things, but I won't get into that.
Our senator is good with net neutrality being killed. You don't want that. Net neutrality sounds like it was killed. I was like, that sounds really good. They killed net neutrality. Yes. Think about it. You want a neutral internet. And our senator, if you live in Arkansas, he wants money. He doesn't care. So there's a service you can use. And I did it twice. You pay $3. And you can have, let me look at it real quick. You can have them send actual letters. You will type out a message on what you want this letter to read. And then somebody will handwrite that for you and snail mail it for you. If you're all like, if you don't want to use,
but I say go every extra mile. Tweet at them, email them, because everyone's got.
Oh yeah, no, but send them letters. Flood them papers. Like that's the thing.
Flood anything. Flood them with anything you can. Flood their inboxes. I don't care what you do. But if you don't think that this is what should be going on, I'm not going to go as stark as Saul. You have your own opinions. Hey, I respect them. Do what you want to do with them. But if you think that from everything we've said, I also say from what we've said, this is still a more wrapped up version of it. Look more into it and look more into the effects of day-to-day internet outside of just gaming and outside of general quality of life, I guess is one way to word it. Just look up, see what it's about, and do what you want to about it. You know what I mean? It's you control the situation, at least within your state, and you're the only person that can push your representative to do what you want them to do. And yes, that's only. Some people go, if I'm the only person that does it, doesn't matter. It's not about that. It's a person by person basis. You all have to push in for what you believe in. Spread the word. If you think it's important, and other people who don't know much about it, educate them. And talk to them about it. Let them go and decide what they want to do, and then they can push in on the senators as well. It's important.
The website
that you are vocal as you want to be about it.
And exactly. And if you don't have access to pen and paper, you don't know how to mail a letter, whatever it may be, it's called mailmygov.com. So it's just mailmygov.com. And you choose recipients, you compose the message, and you send. It costs $2, not $3. It costs $2 per page you send. And you can send them anywhere from the president to your own council in your city. And I'm telling you right now,
interesting service.
We're in a good spot, because it is going to go to the court, and Congress is more than likely going to shoot it down. But we don't know who and when, that it can very well not. And we just need everybody who cares about their internet, cares about playing video games online, whether it is Call of Duty, Final Fantasy 14, any of that. If you care about playing video games in this very, very, very potential scary future in which you can't download one at home, or maybe you can only download one a month, then you definitely care about this. So that's all I got to say about it.
Okay, well, is there anything else we want to talk about? We've been going for a little bit here.
That's it, I believe. I think that was it.
Yeah, news has been a little slow. There's not much to talk about, but net neutrality seemed like there was a couple people interested in it, and I also do think that we have a little bit of with us being, we rely on the internet for this show. We rely on the internet for a lot of what we do. We rely on the internet for gaming. For getting in touch with each other. We rely on the internet to meet some of you people. I mean, if it wasn't for this show and what we were doing, I wouldn't have met Ryan or John or Mark.
Exactly.
All these people at PSX. And I mean, I really enjoyed that. And
we wouldn't have a Discord. We would have a Twitter.
Thinking of the lie. Yeah, exactly. Thinking that we wouldn't be able to do these things just because of some weird, money being an issue, because money's not infinite, It's scary, and it's unfortunate to think that may happen to other people who may have been on the edge of wanting to do something like this. And now, with this being a possible repeal of this bill, that they're scared to jump into it. That's unfortunate. But yeah, I think that this was a somewhat important episode, and I felt a little bit of personal responsibility to back it up, because I do agree with it, and I want to be vocal that I want net neutrality to be in place, or at least some form of it. And I'm not going to say that net neutrality as a whole is perfect. I haven't read it, but knowing what it really aimed to do and what it kept people from doing is important. Look it up yourself. Be as vocal as you want to be. That's the last time I'll say that. But Saul, I think I'm hungry and I want to do some stuff, so I will say that I'm done.
Me too.
Okay.
This has been episode 38, you guys.
Yeah. Episode 38.
We'll see y'all for 39, our Game of the Year awards.
Yeah, we're going to have some announcements about that. But tell you what, if you're on Twitter, you'll know for sure because we'll tweet it out. But one of our listeners gave us an idea, and I think it's a great idea. We are
Mr. Ryan.
Yeah, Mr. Ryan. He is giving us an idea, and I'm glad he even said it. It would have been a really bad opportunity to miss something like that. And I think it's really fun, and it's a good way to get some community outreach and kind of get y'all's opinions in on here. So what we want to do for Game of the Year episode, which we are recording next week, so we're going to have a whole week. We want y'all to tweet at us, email us, all that's posted, but we'll say it again, at Triangle SQRD for our Twitter, and Triangle Squared Podcast at gmail.com for the email. Email us what categories you would like to see, or tweet at us, or DM us, or whatever you want to say. What categories you would like to see, and what your winner for that category is, or even your nominees, however you want to do it. And we'll kind of go through, we'll see what some people are putting out there. We'll kind of make a nominee list off of that, and we'll kind of give what our opinion was on it, but we'll also read off a good majority of y'all's opinions on what y'all thought would win that category. So if you have a category that's not normally represented in the Game Awards, don't be afraid to throw it out there.
Make your own category.
One of my favorite ones is like one of my favorite ideas for a category, and it's probably one I'm going to go with on my list, is best new IP of the year. I think that's something that'd be really cool to do, and I think there's plenty of games that would have been able to fit that. I think best sequel is an interesting idea for
best
one.
Replayable games.
I mean, I think that's games as a service kind of what's talked about, and that's what it is. Like,
No, I'm talking about.
You're talking about like storyline replay.
Nier.
Okay, yeah, I got you. Oh well, but all you're doing is just playing the game. You're not replaying it.
No, but I mean, you kind of are. I mean, no spoilers. I'm gonna get out
but
of this.
to
real
play
quickly.
that game and beat that story, you have to
gotta
go through
play
all
it
5
times. But
and it changes. So it's not fair to say that you're replaying. Cause
also, by the way, Walden, I told you that like that Horizon's shorter than Nier, but it's really not.
they're about equal. I'd say 45 hours each for every
I
ending.
got 13 hours on my first playthrough.
Of Horizon or
No, Nier.
Yeah, but by the time you do everything, it'll be
Okay, I
about
guess I
45
know where
hours.
everything's at, and everything's said and done.
Yeah, because you got a couple things you got to do to
Because
get
I already
to
feel like I've already gotten in like 3 hours in where I was. I'm only an hour.
I mean, Nier could maybe be 30, but I also platinumed it, so it's hard for me to really give an accurate time.
I'm gonna try it. It depends.
Anyway,
on
write in
things.
your categories, what you want to see, and then what you think should win that, and we will go over that. I think it'll be a really fun episode. So I'm excited to hear what y'all have to say about it, and we will send a tweet out to remind everybody of that as
Probably
soon as we
this
get
on
done.
Monday or something.
Yeah, I'll probably do it as soon as I'm done here, maybe tomorrow. So that's
Okay.
a full week. But that's all. So thank you for watching episode 38. And if there's any new listeners, we thank you for joining us. And we will see you next week for episode 39. Thanks.
Thank you, guys.